Good evening, everybody. Hope everybody is having a nice summer evening. I've been trying to clean up the floats in the pool. Had the tractor out, waiting to see if they're going to deliver my new doctor's buggy. What a nice summer night here. All right. Today was a good illustration of, even though the Dow was down 100 points, without candlesticks, you say, that's a selling day. But as we can see, they were trading above where they opened after or at the end of the day. What's that tell you? They were trading lower on the open, took it down, and by the end of the day, they were buying, bringing it back up above the previous day or today's open. So that alone would say, maybe they aren't selling off. But that's why the visuals of candlesticks make it much more easy. We can analyze each one of the indexes in a matter of seconds. We can see exactly what happened in the NASDAQ. It opened right on the T-line, bobbled around a little bit, and then started trading above the T-line. And as soon as it started trading above the T-line, what was it telling us? They were buying. Even though it was down, you can see the green candle telling us there was buyers in this market, not they weren't selling it off. There's a great threat of an additional $400 billion in tariffs to be. Marianne, doesn't mean a hill of beans. All we're really looking at is what is everybody's decision making based upon all the information that's out there. Okay, so all right, reading all the. All right, and then was it the S&P 500? Also opened lower, but came back up on the day. And the Russell. Notice what the Russell is doing. It's staying above the T-line. So once again, you don't have any real great selling going on in this market. They're buying some sectors, selling other sectors. Now you have things like crude oil, which is bouncing around, but it seems like it's trying to base in here and around the $66 range. Oh, man. If I go silent here, it's because I've passed out, because the darn skunks are outside and making it hard to even breathe. Exactly, Marianne. There's so many times that you hear news and you think, oh man, that's terrible. But then you see what the candlestick is doing. It's telling you the people that are making their decisions are making it based upon what's happening. I haven't watched gold here last couple of days. Am I in the right chart? It apparently slammed gold. I guess they did, huh? Glenn, yes, you use tomato juice if you get squirted. The problem is they've squirted somewhere out in the somewhere. What I can't understand is there's nights where you can't even breathe. You look out my office door, and there'll be a skunk there, and just overhanging smell that knocks you out. There'll be 2 or 3 raccoons right behind it. I'm thinking, man, don't raccoons smell stuff? All right. There you go, Jay. Okay, let's see. What were we doing? We've been short wheat because of what you would call a head and shoulders. The Japanese call it three mountaintops. Bearish Harami, right about the same level it topped out over here, and heading down, which was kind of equivalent to a good successful soybean trade that we've been doing. Notice where the bearish engulfing signal formed right here at the resistance level, then closed below the T line. After that, it was just stay short, stay short, stay short, until we saw a doji, and it was starting to get too far away from the T line. Crude oil, a reverse J hook. Kinda, yes. Now it popped up apparently today, but after hours it's starting to back off again. Let's see. All right. All right. We recommended CWH today because of the bobble breakout potential. And that's right. Is it true resistance test 3 peaks at least before breakout? Well, again, yeah, which one were we just looking at? Oh, wheat. Yeah, wheat is, in Western terminology, they call it the head and shoulders. In Japanese terminology, they call it the 3 mountain peaks. So we're not trading the pattern. We're trading the signals that is kind of confirming the pattern. So remember, the signal is pretty much telling us what to do. So here on this one, CWH, nice bobble breakout. Now, if you bought it today and it kind of lollygagged, doing a doji, you still got the potential of buying on positive trading, giving you a doji sandwich breakout to the upside. So if it opens positive tomorrow, what can we infer? That tomorrow's trading day may look like that trading day, bringing you up here, which, whether you're trading the stock or the options, it gives you an ultimate entry point. So, speaking of options, again, I was at the Chicago Board of Options Exchange this past week, Thursday and Friday, and listening to a lot of option traders that have different techniques. And I was telling the chat room this morning, I found out 2 things. One, that the floor of the Chicago Board of Options Exchange is now empty. It's just a big open floor with some metal walkways on it, and there's nobody there. There's a couple rooms off to the side where the traders trade off electronic screens. And the second thing I learned was all the people that are teaching option strategies are the same option strategies that I learned when options first came out. I was a stockbroker with Kidder Peabody in Houston, Texas, back in the mid to late 70s. And that's when a lot of options came out on stocks. So we had a lot of, I learned all the option strategy at that point, and then discovered since then. I don't know Seth Broadberg, no. But anyways, that's kind of leading into, again, this weekend, we're going to have a 4 to 6 hour session on the high profit patterns. And before going to the Chicago Board of Options Exchange, I was just doing it more on looking at the ultimate entries, whether you're trading options or stocks. But now, after seeing what these guys are teaching in at this forum out there, discovered that they would use chart patterns, but they didn't use candlesticks. And I'm thinking, what the heck? You get so much more clarity when you're using candlestick charts. So that's a lead-in to say, whoops. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. We are going to have a little bit of an interruption here in a few minutes. So anyways, a bubble breakout. Be ready to buy this. So that's what I was alluding to is that we're going to start orienting a lot more toward option trading. Now, there's been a lot of times where I'll look at something like Facebook, say, it's not a very active trader, I'd stay away from it. I've changed my mind. There's people trading Facebook, and there's different strategies that you can use to take advantage of some of these price moves. Yeah, looked like the YMs are down a little bit. So let's take a look at what we've got. On the close, I bought some calls on this one, because look where it was trading. Look at your fry pan bottom. Look where it's breaking out. There could be a big slingshot effect to the upside. We were recommending HOLX the other day. All right, today I guess. And it opened positive. Doji sandwich after your fry pan bottom breakout. But it did a double doji, which means you want to take a look at this. If it opens positive, your double doji setup is extremely strong. Fran, look for a 45 degree. Notice your best friend's signal. And CRZO. These are all ones that we've got positions on or have recommended recently. When we need bullish confirmation to buy, if it opens gapping down, but then goes up for the next hour, is it still bullish? If it opens lower, and I'll show you one here in a minute. Let's see. This one, as you can see, CRZO starting to come back up. I'll go right to the one that I want to illustrate. Notice we recommended this one today. However, it had to open positive. It opened and traded lower. Now, had it opened and traded lower and then turned around and came back up through this level, what's that telling us? It's telling us the bulls are there, the profit taking's over, and the pattern that we were expecting is moving like it should. I took a hit last week in Fran. I saw it So we sell and close below the T line. Of course, today it jumped up without me. Did I make a mistake? Nope. There was no way of knowing they were going to pop it up today, John. So I can now you look at it and say, do I want to be buying back? So you missed out on some opportunity, maybe taking a small loss, but let's say go back to Fran. Now you have to say, all right, is this the best place to have my money? Could it be heading higher? Now, again, this is why we teach people how to scan for their own positions. There's AMD, still steady Eddie. Because if you get out of a position or get stopped out of a position or come out and then it starts moving again, the decision is, do I want to get back into that stock or do I want to get into one of my other stocks? No, Fran doesn't necessarily mean it's going to fill this gap. It might fill this gap, but it might be 3 months from now, 3 years from now. Right now, we'd anticipate your best friend is taking you higher. Oh, Jim, can you help Lauren with no sound? NVTA. Now you steady Eddie. Notice what happened here. There was kind of your bobble breakout, T-line crunch. How long do you hold on to this one? Until you see a sell signal and a close below the T-line. HRI, another one we recommended, but it didn't execute. Now look what it's done. It's come all the way back to the 50 and the 200. And let's come right back up again. Get ready for a J-hook positive trading. Whoops. Yeah, you can, if you sold off half, hold on to the rest. What else do we got? Etsy. This is the type of thing we're going to be illuminating this weekend. What do we got going? A 45 degree. Now you can make a decision of how you want to trade that. Square. Notice how it's been doing J hooks, but never closing below the T line. We're waiting for here. Still moving up. There was a resistance level right about here that we're waiting for it to break out significantly. And see, we did SSNC, RDNT. Look at all the dojis. Fry pan bottom. You stay long until you see a sell signal. And Web also had, let me make this one smaller. You see the fry pan bottom. And then where did they break out? Right here where the fry pan bottom started, through the 50. I'm sorry, through the 200. Expect more upside. Can you elaborate the pattern recognition that tells you about the 45 degree probability? Anything that probably is a breakout type move, that if we see this type of action, it usually warrants a 45 degree. And again, that's what we're going to be going into a lot more detail. So what we want to recognize is not only the pattern, what gets that pattern started. Notice we had a fry pan bottom here on Tesla. Then it did a trend kicker signal. So what did that tell us? Number one, told us that fry pan bottom was breaking out, and was breaking out with one of your strongest signals. So how long do you hold on to Tesla? Until you see a sell signal. Labu started back up a little bit today, still in an uptrend, and notice they really haven't been able to close this one below the T line, so you got a good steady uptrend. Amazon was one of the ones that they were talking about in the option trading forum this weekend. But they were looking at this move and say that's a good move without candlesticks, which we get a much better illustration of what's happening in that price move. Micron we got on the watch list. They've got earnings coming out here pretty soon. Waiting to see which way they're going to take this. Apple not doing much of anything right now in a downtrend and possibly a bearish scoop pattern taking you down to the 50-day moving average. Nvidia not going anywhere. Netflix. We bought the spreads on this, the June 29 weeklies. Bought the 385s, sold the 395s. So it's acting well. And what other ones do we have here? Oh, ATVI. We started buying this one when it broke out. Again, there's your double doji breakout. So notice where the double doji breakout occurred. Right here, right at the breakout level. So how long do we hold on to this one? Until we see a sell signal. Okay, on Shopify, that sell signal, let's see. Takes profit goes less than Amazon does. I don't understand what you're saying. That sell signal, would it be in the daily? No, you start, we know all the evidence of when a sell signal could occur in the overbought area. They could gap it up. They could move a big move up away from the T line. They could gap it up and do a doji or a hammer, so you look for a sell signal. An Iridium. Again, a J-hook type pattern. It's been backing off a little bit, but notice we don't have a sell signal in here. We may have a double doji setup. Okay, some others that look good. Williams-Sonoma. Now, I wouldn't necessarily trade Williams-Sonoma because the percent move isn't all that great, but now we're going to be more oriented toward, we've got an excellent buy signal right here, probably wave 3. So we're going to be looking at much more intriguing option strategies. So that one's a good looking chart. Roku is a big fry pan bottom. And look where it is right now, right about where the fry pan bottom started. There's a gap area up here that's likely got the possibility of filling. And WTI, you can buy this one. Now, somebody was asking about this earlier. Not only do you have a good-looking fry pan bottom setting up, but you can see you had kind of a little doji gap up, bullish confirmation. This one can be bought. It's setting up nicely. So are you bringing options in this room together? No, Z, we're expanding the options room. Again, I'm still working on trying to get some other speakers to come in during the day, like Bill Johnson. So we're going to be expanding that area. Yeah, the reason we don't want to combine the two rooms is because the terminology when you're trading options are completely different than just analyzing stocks for position buying. Now, the position buying also can be used for buying stocks or options, whereas the options room is just strictly where everybody's talking about different option strategies. So we had them combined before, but everybody kept getting confused of what somebody was saying because they didn't understand the terminology used in the option area. AOBC, another bobble breakout. Rigid member, if you email Abraham. Now remember, Abraham will be back from his honeymoon on Wednesday. But email him and he'll give you all the details of how to sign up for the options room. Another J-hook pattern on SIG. So again, we're going after now the high probability pattern setups. This one came out with kind of a bullish flutter kicker, Bidu. You want to stay long on this as long as it stays above the T-line. Now, the fact that they gapped this down, I guess they traded it above where they opened. They kept above the T-line, but you definitely do not want to see this open lower. If they do, that means they're backing it up. EURN. Kicker signal. Watch this one on positive trading. B4. Another J-hook pattern. Notice your kind of your cradle type pattern in here, or more of a scoop pattern. Be ready to buy this one. That's a good looking chart. This one I was just showing as an example of when you come out of a fry pan bottom, that's the type of thing that we're expecting, is these big price moves. So here's FRO. There's your best friend signal. That one is very viable. Same scenario for DHT. Whoops. DHT, kicker signal. You could be buying this one also. Those kicker signals are going to give you a high probability, very high probability of moving higher. Okay, I'm missing some of the, wow. Are you scanning for FBPBs with software or scanning on other signals than usually scanning and recognizing a fry pan bottom? Usually a fry pan bottom is going to be something that you'll find based upon the current buy signals. So I don't scan for fry pan bottoms, but I recognize them once we start seeing some buying starting up the other side or the current side. No, Nancy. Remember, part of your analysis is this looks like a good buy signal if it opens positive tomorrow. This looked like a good buy if it opened positive. So we're not jumping into these if the market looks like it's opening up down 120 points, means we don't want to go after the long positions. But hold on for a second. I'll show you what we do go after. The bobble breakout cannot be foreseen. So why not take profit upon a sell signal, wait for the bobble to happen? You can do that. Forget which one it was. If you happen to be long on this, where was your first target? The 50-day moving average. What was it telling you once you got up here? It was time to close out the position. When is it time to get back in? When it comes back up and does a bobble breakout. Do you trade currencies using candlestick signals and patterns? Doesn't it work the same as stock and indices and ETFs and currencies and futures and tulip bulbs? Anything that has fear and greed in it. Whoops. Well, Shazam. So here's the U.S. dollar. So a lot of people like to try try to trade the Forex. To me, the Forex doesn't make any sense. You have a lot more control just trading one currency versus another. The British pound. You could stay short on the British pound. Now, trying to combine the two, that's just putting a lot of factors into. You think about Bitcom at this time? What do I think? Jason, I just don't know enough about Bitcom. Now, you can trade it off the candlestick charts. I've got too many things to be trading already to add something more. FLT, another breakout. Coming out of a fry pan bottom. Expect 45 degree. So on something like this, if we know there's probably a 45 degree, now you can calculate what option strategy you want to put against that, depending on what time frame you're trading. Here's another one that's right at the breakout level, at the 50-day moving average, and right over here. So if it opens positive, you can be buying it because it's telling you that the 50 is not acting as resistance and it's breaking out of the fry pan bottom. Scoop pattern on NTLA. Expect more upside. Stay, we illustrated today as people were asking what was what three white soldiers are. Three white soldiers are a bullish candle, then they open it lower the next day and do a bullish candle, then they open it lower the next day and do a bullish candle. Basically what it tells you is the bulls have taken control and there's profit taking as they start, and every time there's profit taking they buy right back into it. Then look at your bigger picture. Got a J-hook pattern setting up. J-hook pattern on Hain. Bobble breakout. Another one you can be buying. And Crisp. There's your doji sandwich. You can be buying this one. Your first target is to see if they can break through this level. But observe the obvious. Where did this doji sandwich occur? Right off the 50-day moving average. Let's see. Miss Pro. Oops. Pro's got that little scoop pattern also. You just stay long. Okay. What else do we have here? Oh, so what we're going to be doing in the options room is identifying stocks that may not have big percent returns to them, but extremely high probability trade setups. Look at Hess. Look where it did a buy signal, right smack dab on the 50. Now, where do you think everybody's watching Hess? Watching to see what happens here. Positive trading would tell us we're in an uptrend. So now we can go into some sort of option strategy. It might be a spread. It could be a credit spread. Got all sorts of methods of taking advantage of even if it's a slow price move. Kind of the same scenario right now going on with Holly Frontier. Kind of a morning star, not a morning star, cradle type pattern, and it closed right at the T line, which makes it very simple. If it opens positive tomorrow, you got a high probability trade setup. You can put an option strategy on that one. Big left-right combo, an ADSK, breaking out through this level. Let's make this a little bit smaller. And I actually bought some calls today on workday. Again, a left-right combo right here at this level. There could be some more pop to the upside on this one. Look where it based, right here on this support level. So our next target is up in this range. John, no, I don't buy leaps. That doesn't keep people from buying leaps. Again, all we're trying to do is recognize the direction of where a price movement could go or is heading. So here's another one where we got a J-hook type pattern with a left-right combo Morningstar signal. So depending on what you want to trade on that is based upon that we know more than likely on positive trading it's going to go positive. Oh, on workday, I don't remember what I did. Ask me again tomorrow in the room. It was close to the money. GIVO. These are the type of things that you want to, if you're an aggressive trader, you know there's going to be a lot of activity in something like this. So you trade off your 10-minute chart. Oh. This one gapped up. If it opens positive, notice what this one did. It gapped up, came all the way down, tested the T-line, took it back up. That tells you bulls are definitely in control. It may have been, oh, okay, thank you, Tom, yes. Bought the 139 or 132s for the week of June 29. Was that 268? That's right, okay. Thank you. Which is kind of the function of I was telling somebody out there at the option trading forum how much easier it is to come out of a losing trade quickly, because doing simple scans allows you to have always a big supply of new positions to go into. So if you could be a scoop type pattern on Macy's. So if you come out of a losing trade, it's not like you have to sit there and whine like I used to do. You know, you come out of that trade, you've got 4 or 5 other good trades to get right back into. Which means, oops, hang on for 1 second. Got this, everybody. We're going to have to take about a 7-minute break. So smoke them if you got them. I'll be right back. Oh, what was I going to say? Oh, you had to deliver a buggy, doctor's buggy. Usually I have somebody around, but I've been here all week with a darn cat. And the cat just keep. Okay, stay over there. All right. Okay, HMHC. This is a nice breakout when it came up through here. So those are the type of things that you want to look for. Oh, for crying out loud, cat. Come over here. Stay there. So those are the type of breakouts you want to look for. Notice how it's indecisive. This cat is just driving me to drink. All right, let's start the bidding. This cat will go to the lowest bidder. It will be in a FedEx package. So So far, Perry, you're the lowest bidder. Okay. So look how indecisive it was with this T-line crunch, and they pop it through. Oh, for crying out loud. Bah humbug. HCN was a nice breakout, and it won't come up on this chart. That's just makes you going to kick your grandmother. Here's another one where, notice where it consolidated to, right back to the T-line, inverted hammer, J-hook pattern. So the ways that we can make good money in trading is recognizing which patterns and what they will do based upon the reoccurring patterns. Notice Reggie right now has got a scoop pattern trying to break out through this level. You can get ready to buy this one on Positive Trading. I'm reading what Bruce is writing. All right. Let's see, we did FLT, right? Yes, big breakout. Now, when the markets are, even though they're, I would suspect that this is, the Dow's in an uptrending level, we also recommended shorting OLED today because you could see kind of the dumpling top, and look at what that message was. Big bearish selling combination that makes a bearish belt hold. I would suspect your next target is right here, and then if it doesn't support there, probably now down into this range. And we recommended shorting LCI, kind of the same scenario. Look at your dumpling top, and they broke it down. Where's your next target? First target right here, second target right down in this trajectory. So I always like to have a few short positions in the portfolio. This is a kicker signal. Look where it failed, right at the 200, and a kicker signal that's closed below the 50. I would suspect there's enough supports to the downside on this one. VRX, a doji gap down. Another one that has the capability of coming back down here. What was the other one? VRA, was that it? I think this was it. Notice when it broke out right here. That's kind of the same thing I was looking at. Let's try one more. HGN. Not enabled for HGN. That doesn't make sense. Okay. Yeah, not working. Loma. You can see the bearish J-hook pattern. Look at your doji sandwich. Doji on weakness. There could have the possibility of another big move to the downside. Whoops. Look at your bearish doji sandwich. This one failing at the 34. Possibility of more downside. TSG, doji gap down. If this opens lower tomorrow, what's it tell us about the buying today? That the buying failed, the sellers are still in control. And, was that RCII? And look where RCII broke out. slow curve breakout. And then things like IMMR, which had been a good long until the shooting star bearish. Now, if this opens lower, figure they could pull back all the way back to the 50. Again, when they gap down, I tell you the bears not only in control, but they're in very strong control. Bearish kicker signal on Dick's Sporting Goods. Another one that you can go short on. Microphone is slipping away here. I should be back now, loud and clear. Much better. Okay. All right. Remember, we're going to be doing a 4-hour session this Saturday. If you haven't taken the pattern session, take it. It will at least start giving you confirmation of adding all the candlestick signals, that information, together with identifying when a good pattern is setting up. So that combination just gives you a much more clarity as to what's going on with a high probability of investor sentiment. Also, if you're still getting people emailing about the lake, the private sessions at the lake, if you really want to fill in all the little gaps so you've got very strong or a much stronger view of how to get your own emotions out of the way when you're trading and be able to identify the high probability setups, the private training session at the lake is well worth the money, because if you have a problem, it's not going to be answered with a 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute answer. It's going to be where we can spend 15, 20 minutes going through it and then using that for using that illustration for the rest of the time we're there to kind of enhance or add to that getting rid of whatever that bugaboo is. So had a lot of people that came up there not knowing what to do and walking away from there having much stronger conviction of what their investing program should be. Okay, are there any general candlestick questions? How many days do we need in a handle to order to consider it a scoop? Oh, not very much. Just as long as you can pretty well identify that it is a handle. Sometimes it's 4 or 5 days. Which one did we look at that was a flag or a pennant? Yes, we're going to be, I don't remember any right now, but the benefit again we have with candlestick signals is we can much more clearly see what the Western patterns that everybody's looking at and knowing when we should you saw your shooting star on IMMR and then started seeing selling. Where do you think the selling was going to take you? Probably at least back to the T-line. Now the fact that they gapped it down, if they open it lower tomorrow, it means the sellers are still in control. Red Hat or Restoration Hardware, is that a flag? No, that's just a sideways motion after a big gap up. The Bobble breakout, yes, is tomorrow evening. How long in the morning do you wait for price to be trading positive, and how do you enter? It all depends on the market conditions. If we wake up tomorrow and the stock that we're looking at is trading positive. Let me figure out one. I think Hain. Let's say we anticipate a bubble breakout, but the market's opening down 120 points. This one opens slightly positive. I'll kind of wait to see if they're still buying it with the market down or whether they're just hovering it here, waiting for the market to pick up. Anything that is a 45 degree usually has a big price move that starts it up. It could be a big candle, it could be a gap up, and then it moves as a consistent price after that. On Apple, bullish scoop pattern. Yeah, there's kind of a flat handle and then the bearish scoop pattern. Would you likely go short? Yes. If this opened on weakness, my first target would probably be right here, which would coincide with the handle. And if it broke through there, telling me they're coming down to the 50, then maybe that gap, and then maybe all the way down to the 200, which is that gap. Now, will it get there? Who knows? That seems like a good fur piece. But I've discovered in investing that whatever you think something might not do, it'll probably do it. Could you do some pre-market or beginning market analysis in the mornings to help? I try to, but it's usually with text, Jason. So I try to put out ideas, and I can do more of that. Will there be an email tomorrow night's bubble pattern? Paul, probably not. Just come in here, I think. I'm sure there will be as I say, Abe's away, but I think Becky will get an email out. Yeah, you can just stay in the room. Is there anything else you could use with candlesticks to determine strength of a breakout? Waited 18 months and then sold Jiva too early today. Whoops. What is that? Oh. Well, what you do on a day like today is you went from 5 to 22. You flipped your 10-minute chart, and where was, this could be any time frame, but where was the sell signal here? When it got up here, you had two things that you could have been looking at on the 10-minute chart as well as on the daily. Where was it compared to the T-line? Well, obviously, you were a huge way away from the T-line. Where were you on the 10-minute chart? A good distance away. Up here, you started thinking about taking profits. All right, I'll try to get comments out earlier, Jason. Are there traders that use weekly charts? Yeah, definitely. Depends on the time frame that you're trading. So if you're a longer-term investor, I'm trying to think of something. If you're a longer-term investor, don't know whether this will work or not, but there's your weekly chart on Whiting. And where did the selling come in? When you saw an evening star on the setting up on your weekly chart. And there's another way to use it too. Let's say you saw something like Whiting down here do a buy signal. You might also go to your weekly chart and say, all right, is the weekly chart confirming? Yeah, AK, there isn't any way you would know that there was something coming up on GVO. So that's, everybody says, well, how would I have known to get ready for this? You wouldn't. Except now, with candlestick charts, you know what to do once you start seeing this type of thing happen. So let's say you were watching this and you did see it gap up, and you did go to your 10-minute chart and you saw, oh, they're still buying it. You could get in, or you could get in anywhere here until you see the sell signals. Okay, I guess with that, Jim, go ahead and do the double line. And in 4.2 seconds, do the next double line. The tile shop, you stay long. Whoops, we're over here on the. You stay long. That's weekly. And there's your daily. You just stay long as it stays above the T line. Kara, same thing. You could still even be a buyer of this if it breaks out through this level. Micron, I guess after closing on the 20th, they're reporting earnings. And Las Vegas Sands, you could be buying this one with the anticipation it's going to get back into a 45-degree, that same trajectory. AAXN. Nice little J-hook setup. You can get ready to buy this one. WTR. Another one you could be buying. Just kind of realize you're in a channel and your percent return isn't going to be huge. So yeah, you could be buying it. Just figure out the best way to take advantage of that obvious price move. TRP, another one you probably want to wait for it to break this downtrending channel. Remember, the bigger the signal, more compelling. There has been a change of investor sentiment. Wells Fargo, just not going anywhere. This is one that I wouldn't be trading at all right now. There's just nothing there. And Navi, that might be a reversal. Right about the same level it started buying here. So you have to watch. If you were short, I would definitely cover it if it came up through today's high or up above the 200-day moving average. This one kind of got everything knocked back out of it. If you went long today, it has to open positive and trade positive to stay in it. Neti, kind of the same scenario. You want to see this trade positive to stay in it. Oh, they scrolled too far. CVNA, a little bit indecisive in the overbought area. Put your safety stop just below today's low. Win, bullish engulfing. If you're short, you should have covered your short today, or get ready to cover your short on positive trading tomorrow. I wouldn't go long, though, until you see it close above the T-line. In Schlumberger, nothing yet. You stay short until you see a confirmed buy signal, and that's not a buy signal. I seem to pick the wrong ones. We had a choice of shorts this morning. All right. No, there's no way to avoid that, Jason. Other than, let me see what the, whoops, that was Schlumberger. What am I trying to get to? No. Yeah, Micron. No way you could have really avoided that. So the only thing I can tell you is you continue to go after the ones that look good, because the probabilities will come around where you'll start hitting the right ones. PayPal, just stay long. Home Depot, looks like it's doing a J-hook support on the T-line. You could be buying this one on positive trading. HRTX, get ready to short this one if it opens lower, because now you have a bearish doji sandwich, bearish J-hook pattern setting up. Citigroup, nothing exciting yet. If you had been short, today I would have covered it, because you got a left-right combo right at the same level it bottomed out before. So if you've been short, you'd cover it. You wouldn't be a buyer, though, until it gets it back up above the T-line. AVEO, another one that needs a little bit more strength. You do have a little left-right combo. Make sure your volume is pretty hefty. Uh-oh. CLR, why an invalid chart? Yeah. Another bullish Harami. You're getting down here in the oversold area. If you were short, you get ready to cover this one on positive trading. That's what the bullish Harami tells you. IQ, you stay long, but notice what's happening. You've started to move a little bit away from the T-line. So you stay long, just pick a spot where it shouldn't trade. Definitely should not trade back below today's low or today's open. Hua, same scenario. You had a kind of a big spinning top. The safety stop should be right here at today's open. It shouldn't come back down to that level. Wow, just stay long as it stays above the T-line. Viv, same scenario with that hammer gap up. You can see that they definitely changed directions. And ASNA, oh boy, you shouldn't be in this one. You should have been, if you were long, you should have been out of it. You should have been warned to be out of it, because you started moving this far away from the T-line, had a hanging man. That would have been my safety stop. Hanging man doji, and then they could take it down through the bottom of the doji. Where do you think they were taking it? They're going back to test the T-line. Gray Television. That's a toughie. Somebody had this out there. I guess you just stay long as it stays above the T-line. But I would probably use today's open as a stop. It shouldn't come back down through that level. Cassie, nothing yet. Not until it gets above the T-line. V-Cell, I would have covered my short position, but I wouldn't be going long. Shake Shack, stay long as it stays above the T-line. GE, if you want to be short, you can stay short. Just be careful. You had a doji down here. I would definitely have a buy stop at yesterday's or the previous day's close. It shouldn't come up through that level. And AMED, or Advanced Micro, all you can do is stay long on this one. Just keep a safety stop at the T-line. O, nothing. Yeah, that's not a chart that you'd want to do anything with. SEP, you can stay long on this one. look for it on positive trading to head up to the 50-day moving average. SRV, that one you can get ready to go short on weakness tomorrow also. Look at what they told you up here. They couldn't take it up for the bears knocking it down right at the same level they knocked it down before. NVTA, just stay long. Fran, we did. Edge. Oops, that's going to have to make this one bigger. You can be buying this one. Just make sure your volume is 1 million shares or more each day. And NVIDIA. You stay long if you like it. It's just not too hopping right now. Didn't we do this on the close today? CVRR. You can get ready to buy this one. AUPH. That one lost interest or lost its momentum. If you're long, it has to open positive. If it opens lower tomorrow, I'd come out of it. Not a very good chart then. DSKE, you stay long with it, staying above the T line. Missed a few up here, didn't I? Serve, stay long. Nice J-hook pattern. Mark. Oh boy. Spailing right here at this level at the 50. I'm sure the volume is big enough that if you wanted to short this one, you could be shorting it. The problem with these Bitcoin stocks is they can pop on any type of news on any given day. Foot Locker, you can be shorting this one. Tiva, stayed above the T line, you can stay long on this one. VSTM, good breakout. Notice how it started with your best friend gap up. Should be at least a 45-degree off of here. Oh boy, that looks like it stopped trading. Paul can't help you there. GameStop, big breakout, big bullish engulfing. I would suspect they're heading for the 200. Apron, Blue Apron. Another one that you can buy on positive trading. Obviously watch to see what happens once it gets to the 200. And Reggie also has a little kind of a scoop pattern, not a real flat handle, but at least kind of a J-hook pattern setup. Bought calls about 2 weeks ago, July 20th, it went down to a point where there were 0 bids. Is this a keeper now? Etsy, you've got the July. Oh, for July, yeah, I'd hang on to it. Looking for a breakout right here. Momo, stay long. It has to open positive, though. You want to see it open up. Harley, that's not what you wanted to see. When they failed here at the 200 and then opened lower today, get ready to take profits if it opens and starts trading lower tomorrow. That means you're caught into a bobble pattern. AK, that might be, on which one? AMD. That might be something, if you're going to hold it long term, that's where whoever was asking earlier, that might be one that you buy the leaps. IBB, gap down today. you don't get back into this one, or you can go short if they open this lower tomorrow. Oh, GameStop, according to buyout. Okay. All right. Okay, still lots of good-looking charts out there. Again, bought calls on this fry pan bottom breakout potential. NTLA, kind of a little J-hook pattern setup, kind of a scoop pattern setup also. And what was the other ones that look attractive? There's a J-hook pattern on B-Core. And a big gap up on Fleet Core. But there was a couple, and I forget what they were, that were kicker signals. Oh, Fro. That's a strong chart. Your best friend gap up. Is it wise to do? That was my question. To buy a potential and keep. AK, that's a different strategy. You can buy it and put it in your longer term account, but that's a different strategy than what the candlesticks are telling us to do. So if you're looking at AMD and you think it's going to be a long-term situation, then you flip to your weekly chart. It still looks good, and you could even go out to your monthly chart. It looks like you've got a big J-hook pattern off the monthly chart. So looks like they could get up another 30% over the next few months. Oh, VTETM not coming up over here. DHT was a kicker signal too, yes. Verizon, you can stay long, you can even be a buyer on positive trading. NAT, not BAT, NAT. Nordic Track, nothing there that's really great chart. VSTM, breakout, look for a 45 degree. Do you still have picks for long-term portfolio? I haven't done any recently. Now, what I'm going to be doing, along with setting up a whole new options strategy program, which means we're going to look at different charts and figure out the best strategies, but more strategies than just call spreads or buying or selling options. We're going to do different call spreads. Some are going to be way out of the money call spreads. Some are going to be credit spreads. So that's one project. And then the next project is going to be doing a little bit longer term, where we start seeing which sectors are starting to turn around based upon candlestick charts. The option strategy is probably going to be a weekend training, Bob. So Sylvain, the longer term picks are probably going to be oriented toward identifying which sectors are starting to move up, and then which stocks in those sectors have the best potential for not a swing trade, but more of a long-term hold, which long-term could be anywhere from 2 months to a year. Okay, everybody. I know you're all wanting to get out into the swimming pool. So with that, everybody have a good evening. Again, if you have questions about the lake, email me with your phone number. We'll get on the phone and go over it. and we should have the information about today or this weekend's training out to everybody. All right, everybody, have a good evening. We will see you bright and early in the morning.